everyone. We'd like to welcome you to the 2014-2015 club season. My name is Bree Isaacson and I am the director of Club One Volleyball.
And my name is Bridget Hack and I am the business manager. Our hope with this video is to save our family some time. We know everybody is very, very busy. So we're hoping by doing this video online rather than our typical parent meeting, we'll save you guys some time but give you the same amount of information that's super important for you guys in making your decision and also for coming to our club this season. We will have a mandatory open house, which will be on Monday, October 6th. And it will be any time between 5 and 7:30 at Flight Volleyball Center. You do not have to come the entire time. At that time, you'll hand in paperwork and we'll get the registration process, which we will explain at the end. So just sit back, listen to the info. Of course, if you have questions, you can ask us at the open house.
Before we get started, Bridget, high school open house, October 27th.
It is. It is the Monday after for our 15s and 16s, same time. And then for our 17s and 18s, it'll be on Monday the 3rd. So always the Monday after the tryout from 5 to 7:30.
Absolutely. Yep. Great. So for our youth program, practices begin the week of November 10th, and then our high school program will begin the week of November 17th. All practices are held at Flight Volleyball Center in Plainfield. An exact practice schedule will be available after tryouts and team selections. We definitely have an idea in place, very similar to what we did last year, but we just want to make sure to hold off on putting that out so we don't have to make any changes until after tryouts are complete. All paperwork, USAV, and AAU memberships must be complete before practices start. So all athletes must be members of USA Volleyball. That will have to be renewed or purchased for the first time for $55. And then AAU memberships must be renewed. Those are for sure expired for our families from last year. Those will need to be renewed also. And that is a $14 membership. So those two memberships, along with all paperwork, must be in before that first practice so that our athletes are allowed to participate. Players should arrive 15 minutes before practice starts. If they're going to be late, we do ask that they contact the coach before practice starts. And if you are going to be sick or miss, we also ask that you let the coach know ahead of time so that we can plan our practices accordingly. Athletes are allowed 3 excused absences throughout the course of the season. Those include illness. So illness, homework, family functions, things like that. After the 3, playtime could be affected. We do allow our families and athletes to make up those practices on different nights with different teams. So if you do have to miss, you can get those practices back if you make them up on a different night. The only exception to that is multiple sport athletes, and we'll discuss that just a little bit later. For practices, all athletes are required to wear Club One practice t-shirts, spandex, volleyball shoes, knee pads, and hair must be back. We do ask that our athletes not wear their volleyball shoes outside. It ruins the bottom of the surface, plus it brings in outside debris into the gym. So please make sure the athletes are taking them off before and after practice. As a friendly reminder, Club One practices are closed except for the first Monday of every month. We love that our parents come in and see what we're doing. We think we're doing great things. We just simply don't have the space. So the first Monday of every month, everybody is welcome to come in. If you need something additional than that, please feel free to ask us. Multiple sport athletes. We encourage this with our athletes. We know there's not very many of them left. The only thing that we know is we need good communication with the athlete, the parents, the families, and our coaches. As long as we know when the athletes are going to be there and not be there, it has always worked for us in the past. We ask that you provide a game schedule and a practice schedule as soon as it becomes available through the high school sport. And then additionally, we ask that if you can only come for a short amount of time and have to leave early or have to come late, that you make the effort to do so, because it is a team sport and we know that everybody gets better when we're together. But as long as we have all that information and great communication, we encourage the athletes in our program to be involved in other sports as well. The tournament schedule should be available shortly. It is 75% complete at this time. Power League dates, Great Lakes Power League dates are already on there. Qualifiers are on there, and our host dates at Club One. We're just waiting on a couple extra. So look for the tournament schedule to be available very shortly after tryouts and after practice schedules go out. Some general rules of thumb. We ask that you arrive 1 hour early before you play, 45 minutes before you ref. Your coach will tell you exact start times, but should your daughter be sick the day before a tournament, that's a general rule of thumb. All athletes must stay until all officiating and playing duties are complete on a final day. So they are not allowed to leave before their officiating is complete. We ask that you respect each host site's food policy. There is not a facility that I know of that allows you to bring in outside food. Should your child have some sort of allergy, something with gluten, something like that, if you email me, I can email the host site directly, and then they would allow a special situation to allow you to bring in outside food. But if you're caught with it, the general rule of thumb is you would be removed from the tournament. So please no outside food. On average, each team will play 2 times per month, January till the end of May/June for youth, and January to the end of June for our high school athletes. The last thing to remember too is when we play in single day events, whether it's a Club 1 event, a Windy City, a Fusion Fest, or any of those single day events where a champion is determined on a single day of play, please note that those schedules do not typically become available until the Wednesday before the event. So you will know what day you play on, but you may not know your start time until the Wednesday before. As soon as we get the information here, it will get emailed out to our coaches and get sent directly to you. The next topic is playing time. We set up the teams every season so that we believe that the athletes on it can all compete for a spot to play. But we realize that we take more than 6 athletes on a team, so sometimes people aren't getting the play time that they want. Should that happen, we have a couple rules in place. The first thing is coaches determine where and how long athletes play. So if your daughter isn't playing the position she hoped to play in, the amount of time she's hoping to play, ultimately the coach has a reason, and it usually comes from practice. So if you are not getting, or your daughter is not getting the play time that she wants, the first step would be that she would talk directly with the coach. The coach has the answer. She sees him in practice, or he sees him in practice. They see him in tournaments, so they'd be able to give some helpful insight to maybe making some adjustments there. If after a certain amount of time it's not resolving itself, the parents, the athlete, the coach, and myself can all sit down to discuss it. Please know that sometimes these changes take time, so nothing's going to happen overnight. So give it a little bit of time. We'll continue to encourage the athletes and work on the things they need to work on. We do have a 24-hour rule in place. And just as we will always respect your daughters, we ask that you provide the same respect to our staff. If something happens, the athlete doesn't get a lot of play time, they're playing a different position, something happens and you're really upset about it, we will be more than happy to discuss it, but we do ask that you wait 24 hours to send the email to set up the meeting. Please remember that our coaches dedicate countless hours to working with these athletes, and they don't make a ton of money to do it, so that we ask that you please don't humiliate or embarrass them in public, in our gym, anywhere, as we would never do that to your daughter as well. We do have a parent expectation set up. All of the information that I'm providing and that Bridget will provide is found in the handbook, which is online and will be accessible to you guys. I'm pulling out what I believe is the most important information. Feel free to read it. But we did add a parent expectation section this year, and I'm going to read it. I'm sorry, we added it last year. But I'm going to read it to you guys just so this is really important for us, as it represents not only your daughter, but it represents our teams and our business. So we ask that you be respectful of the club, the coaches, and the players. We ask that you demonstrate good sportsmanship at practices and tournaments to not only Club 1 players and families, but other teams, officials, coaches as well. Support the development of each player on the team, regardless of the position that they play. Follow proper chain of command with coach, kid to parent coach, and then kid parent coach director. And then lastly, failure to follow these could be grounds for removal of the athlete from the program with no refund. And while we don't anticipate that happening, we do want to put that out there just so that everybody is aware. We offer at Club 1 something called mid-season evaluations, and basically what that is in the middle of the season, we do evaluation on each of the athletes in our program. It breaks down attacking, serving, setting, defense, passing, attitude, and then something that they're doing great, 1 or 2 things, and then something that they need to work on. For our girls program, those will take place at the end of February, beginning of March. And what will happen is it's a standard form. It'll be filled out by the coach for each athlete on the team. At that time that those are filled out, the coach will email out the families and say, if you would like to participate in this eval, you are more than welcome to, and you can set up a time based on the coach's availability and yours. At that time, you could ask any questions that you have. It's great insight into where the athlete is, things that they've really improved on, and things that they need to continue to work on. Should you not attend the meeting, the evaluation will happen regardless, and then that form will go home in your child's bag. So if you'd like to take a look and discuss it with them after that, it would be in there for you to kind of look at. The eval will happen either way, but we do open it up to our families during the mid-season evaluation period. Travel. So we're going to just talk travel just a little bit. Exact travel letters will come out from us for each event, which will have places that you can stay. It will have exact dates. Those are on the tournament schedule as well, but it'll have exact dates. It'll have just some general information if this is the first time that you're doing it. But in the meantime, I just want to provide a little bit for our youth program. Our 12s do not travel at all. Our 13s and 14s will go either to the Dells, the Wisconsin Dells, which is in April, or they will go to the St. Louis National Qualifier, which is in March. Which event they go to is dependent upon the team that they're placed on. So the cost is the same. It won't affect the cost, but you won't know the exact trip until we select teams, which team selection doesn't really happen until 2, 3, 4 weeks into season, so into November. And we take some time to evaluate the kids over an extended period of time. Should an athlete be having a bad week, a bad practice, we don't make any decisions. After 3 or 4 weeks, we do place them on the teams. And just making a note of that as well, as far as team placement. When those team placements come out, we will put them where we think that they should be now, based on position, based on experience, based on a lot of different factors, so that the teams are set up properly for all of the athletes to have success. Please note that at that time, as found in the handbook and found in the contract, I will not discuss, nor will the coaching staff discuss why an athlete was placed on a certain team. If after a certain amount of time we see, or you see, that there is an issue, we'd be happy to discuss that. But please note that there will be no discussion of team placement when it initially happens. So after they're selected and put onto teams, then you'll know whether you're going to the Wisconsin Dells or you're going to the St. Louis National Qualifier. For our high school program, all high school teams will be going to the Indianapolis Qualifier, which is in March, and all teams will be going to the AAU National Championships at the end of June in Orlando, Florida. So those are the ones that are on your schedule. You'll see it when the tournament schedule comes out. Exact breakdowns of hotel, dates, and all of that stuff will be available shortly. A couple other things that I have on my end. Spirit wear. We do have a great spirit wear that's available for purchase for our families to represent the club and the teams and the athletes. So please look for that. I will send it out to you guys very shortly, and that is available. You order it and pay for it directly online. It comes over to the Club One office, and then I'll hand it out to the athletes while in practice. We have lots of families that ask us about private lessons. They'll ask us about them. We do offer them. Should you be interested in one, please feel free to email me and I can set one up. Once our athletes are in season, we don't necessarily think that they're needed, but sometimes parents want to work on a specific skill, and we just want to let you know we are available to run those should you need them. Our website, we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page. Please feel free to check it out. We post all important information really on all of the sites, but please check our website for information regarding cancellations, bad weather, tournament information, practice schedules, any driving directions, anything like that. So please familiarize yourself with our webpage. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask us. For the girls program, you just always want to click the little girls tab at the top, and then that'll kind of give you all where you can see rosters and things of that nature. So please check that. We will also use our Oasis system that you registered for tryouts for communication, but everything will go up on the webpage pretty quickly, so please feel free to check it. And then just a general reminder, at Flight, we have parking on the side of the building where the 2 garages are and in front of the building. Please do not go further into the next building set, into the bounce up parking lot and park there. That's not legal parking. So if you should ever come to Flight and there is no availability in the front or on the side, please know you can park in Coyle Plus Drive, which is the street that runs behind it, or in the Public Works building across the street. I'm going to turn over to Bridget now. She's going to talk financials and she's going to talk fundraising. I think that's it.
Yeah, and then I'll talk about the forms as well and what it is that you need to bring to the open house on that Monday. The cost this year for the youth program as well as the high school program is as follows. Our 12s cost is $12.95. Our 13s and 14s is $16.95, which includes the travel fees. Our 15s is $23.45, and the 16s through 18s is $24.45. Uniform we are finalizing and working on, but we'll have two separate packages this year. One will be for our new athletes, which like last year, they'll get everything in the package, everything that you could possibly need except for maybe your knee pads. But you will get your 2 custom jerseys, you'll get your 2 practice t-shirts, you'll get your warm-up jacket and your warm-up pants, your spandex, your shoes, and a backpack. For our returning players, they will get the 2 custom jerseys and the 2 practice t-shirts. We will offer optional items. We do know that sometimes people need new shoes, they may need more spandex. And the way that our uniform ordering this year is going to work is we will be sending a live link to you once the uniform sizing happens, where you will go in and fill out some general information, email addresses, names, and then you will choose whether or not you're a new or a returning player, and then you will pick your sizes. That information gets downloaded to me as well as to the people who are doing our sizing and ordering, and then that way it all is in one place at one time. So when we get that link will come out to you.
Just and quickly, because there's a lot of new samples that are out, Mizuno's had a little bit of a hard time since the girls season. They really don't start competing till January. So our hope is to have them at the parent meeting, but we can tell you with the boys that have already started, we did not have them. Yes. So when they became available, we sent out an email with a couple different try-on dates, and we were available to do that. We provided just a piece of paper. People came in, sized their kids at their convenience, and then took it home and put it into the form. So we're going to plan that they'll be there, but we will let you know, and then we'll set up a date when they are.
And if we do have all of that finalized when you are watching this and when you've gotten the information on registering, it will have the price of that as well. Because at the meeting, this all goes hand in hand. At the meeting, what is required is 25% of the tuition and travel, if it, for everybody but the 12s, is due, plus uniform in full. And reason for that is we do need to order uniforms fairly quickly. So we will be able to tell you what that uniform price is, hopefully by the day of the actual tryouts, but if not, it'll be emailed out right when we know that. Club One, again, will offer installment plans. If you don't pay in full on the night of the meeting, we will offer, again, up to the 4 payments. It's a total of 5. This is a little bit confusing for people, so I do want to explain. It's a total of 5 payments. Your first payment is technically your 25% deposit as well as the uniform. So your next 4 payments for youth would be due on November 1st, December 1st, January 1st, with your final payment being due on February 1st. And for our high school, it would be the first payment at the meeting, and then December 1, January 1, February, and March 1. And with all of our payment plans, as in the past, there is a $25 fee that is added to each of those installment payments. So if you chose to do the 3 installment payment, you would have an additional $50. The first one, there is no fee, and then $25 for each payment. If you choose to do the 25% and then would like to pay your balance on your next payment, we do not charge the installment fee at all. So you could make it in 2 payments and avoid all fees. So that's also something that you may want to think about. What we do at the meeting is we will, on our checklist sheet, have a credit card, and that fee will be charged on your due dates per the credit card that you give us on file. Some people like to pay by check, and we're fine with that as well. If that is the case, we ask that you post-date your checks, and those will be attached to your file, and then on those due dates, that check would be deposited. It just alleviates a lot of people forgetting or us trying to track each other down because we're not always in the office during the day, etc. We really don't like coaches to take payment. We like it to come directly. So this, we have found, just works the best in making sure that it's all taken care of. Which brings me to fundraising, because so many people ask how they can offset these costs. We have, because of the success of our fundraiser, which is our mandatory raffle of last year, we've chosen to do that again. It not only helps the club, but it does help our families. And for those of you who are new, the way that the fundraiser works is this. It is a mandatory fundraiser. You are required to sell 10 tickets at $10 a piece. So each family is responsible for $100. That that first $100 goes back to the club and helps us purchase things that we need. It helps keep, fees lower and not have to raise the cost, because we can use that money to purchase those things that are required by the club. After the first 10, anything that's sold by the families is 100% profit back to the family. So for example, if you sell 50 tickets or $500, $100 would go to the club and $400 goes back to the family. You can sell the tickets. We will have the tickets available at the parent open house, so you'll get the tickets and you can start selling them right away. You can sell up to December 20th, and then on the 21st is the drawing. Due to the fact that it is a non-for-profit, there are tax laws that we have to abide by. So the actual refunds or credits to the account will not be issued until mid-January. So you will be responsible to continue to make those payments until the raffle is completed and the refunds or credits are sent out. However, if you pay in full at the meeting, you are not penalized. A lot of people will pay in full to avoid fees, know that they're going to sell a lot of tickets, and then come January, you will receive a refund check in the full amount of whatever you sold over those first 10 tickets. It's a great, great way for people to offset their costs. We had people literally pay in full for their tuition and travel, and if you're watching, you know who you are because I wrote you those refund checks at the end. So it is a really, really great way to offset your costs, and our goal in this is to help our families as much as we can. We also know between the two of us having 8 children that fundraising isn't always what we really want to do, and we can only ask our families of our own so many times to donate money to the cause. So what we offer to families, if you are not interested in doing it, is a $75 opt-out fee, and you would pay that at the time of registration that evening, and you would not receive tickets and you would not be responsible for selling them. And that is just, sometimes families like to do that. One motivation may be the $10,000 prize that you could win at the end, which I don't think someone at Club 1 won that, but I know someone at Club 1 won second or third prize last year, but that might be your motivation. So for the $25 more, or about 2.5 tickets, you at least would get your name in the drawing for the grand prize at the end. So that might be something that you're interested in. We do some optional fundraisers. We did run a cookie dough fundraiser last year. I've received the information. We're going with the same company. We had a lot of success with them. It's totally optional. The flyers will be available, but you sell the tubs of cookies for $16 a piece. $5 per tub goes back to the family. We do have it running so that you'll have the cookies back by Thanksgiving, because a lot of people like to sell them and give them to the family by Thanksgiving, but that is optional, and there is more information at the meeting on that if you're interested. That is all the information that we have in terms of this club year and what's in the handbook. I'm going to quickly go over what we'll be collecting at the meeting, so that when you come through, it's a pretty quick process now that you've heard the information and you'll know everything that you need to bring. And all of this can be found online. Everything that is going to be required will need to be printed off and brought in. We will have limited copies, but there will only be limited copies, so please go through the step-by-step. If your daughter's number is chosen and you are committing to the program, all of this will be on the step-by-step, and all of the forms can be found online on our Forms and Files tab. But what will need to be brought in the evening is you will need to bring in the USAV medical form, the signed contract. There are 2 separate JVA forms. There's a medical and a liability and release form. We have our Friends of Powerhouse form, which is the form for the raffle. If you're going to participate, you need to fill out the form. If you are not going to participate, then you would not fill out that form. There is on the checklist a place to opt out of that. There's also online an acknowledgement form, which is just acknowledging that you have watched the video and that you know where you can find the handbook on our website, and you can review all of the information that is in there. That will be in there as well. And I will be posting on the website a 2014-2015 checklist sheet. If you could print that off as well, that will just be another reiteration of everything that's on and needs to be brought in. You can have your daughter's name on it, and if all that paperwork is together, you will bring in your 25% deposit and uniform fee if not paying in full. And please have either post-dated checks or a credit card so that we can take that on file. Hopefully it'll be as quick as we can make it.
That's right.
Checkout process. Of course, we are there and available to answer any questions that you have about anything in the video or anything about the club season.
Absolutely. And when Bridget and I talked about doing an online video this year, our big concern with it was we thought there were so many pros for families not to have to sit through it. We know that we don't have a ton of space. We had long lines in the past. And the reality of it is her nor I have very loud yelling voices. So at times people couldn't hear us and then we were hoarse for the whole month of November. So we thought this would be a great video, but our only hope was, or our only concern I should say, is that we didn't lose the touch that we have with our families in those meetings. Bridget is super glad I'm not telling any of those awful stories again because she's heard them all and she could repeat them herself, and quite frankly, so could most of you. So we thought, hey, you know what, we're going to do this online, but like Bridget mentioned, we will be there at those open houses. You can sit down with us, you can ask us questions. Our staff will be there, as many members as can be that aren't coaching in high school, and it will still have that same feel. We're just going to bypass the meeting so that we can kind of get our families in and out a little bit faster with the very busy lives that we know everybody has. So, and the great news for Bridget and I is, unlike the voice video, it didn't take us 45 takes. It only took us one. So we did the whole video in one take. Hopefully we didn't forget anything. Hopefully it was informative to you. And we just want to tell you we so look forward to another great season at Club One.
And we'll see you on Sunday.
See you Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.